Let's start it off with a banger. Update Me is hands down the best new way to get almost every modded Android app out there. It's got a full repository of mods letting you remove analytics, trackers, and ads for almost any app. For some social or messaging apps, you can also become more private by forcefully turning off read receipts, typing indicators, viewing stories anonymously, and more. You can even unlock extra settings for other apps to make them even more enjoyable to use. Plus, when you're about to install a mod, Update Me makes it really easy to switch between providers so that you can find the best one that suits you best. And the best part is that you can update all your mods within the app itself. It's a must-have for any power user. Thumbs up for that one. As some of you know, I've been using Android for over a decade, and in that time, I've bought hundreds of apps and games. And of course, keeping track of all those purchases has become almost impossible. While the Play Store can show me my purchase history, it's not very user-friendly. It just gives me a giant list mixed in with in-app purchases, subscriptions, and apps I bought. It takes a really long time now to see some of my older purchases. That's why I use Purchased Apps. It lets me filter my purchases by the oldest first, see the most expensive or cheapest apps that I bought, and even total up my lifetime spending. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, as much as it hurts me to say it, I've spent over $3,000 on just apps. And that's not even including my other Google accounts. Purchase Apps also lets me switch between Google accounts to let me see the other apps I purchase as well. It's a must if you're a big app enthusiast. It's just not on the Play Store anymore, but you can find it on APK Mirror. And those are just 2 out of the 10 apps that I'll showcase in this month's episode of the best Android apps for August 2024. Stick around to the end too for the craziest app on this list. If you're new here, this is a monthly series where I show off and highlight the best Android apps to enhance your experience. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode. Now, along with keeping track of all the apps I purchased, staying on top of all my subscriptions is also really difficult. I mean, as annoying as it is, nowadays almost every app and service has a subscription. So I have to use SubX to be able to organize them all and get an idea of how much I'm paying each month. I've found out that I'm currently paying an average of around $360 per month, which kind of hurts, but it is what it is. I also love that it's able to notify me when an upcoming payment is about to happen, is able to show me discounts for popular services, and keeps me updated when a company changes their plans. The only downside about SubX is that you will have to manually input each service that you subscribe to, but it already has the latest plans and prices for the most popular ones. Plus, they do charge a one-time in-app purchase of about $5 to add unlimited subscriptions and unlock every feature. Ever wanted ChatGPT or Google Gemini integrated into your default keyboard? Keyboard GPT does just that. Open any text field in your keyboard, type a question mark followed by my command or question, hit enter, and voila, my response appears in the app I'm using. Then I can switch AI providers by typing in 2 question marks, and I can search the web with an exclamation point and an S followed by my query. It works with popular keyboard apps like Gboard, SwiftKey, Samsung Keyboard, and Flexi. The only downside is that this app is an LSPOSE module, so you can either root your device and activate it with the LSPOSE app, or if you're not rooted, you can use the LSPatch app to patch it into your keyboard. I made a video a few months back explaining how to use LSPatch, so I'll drop that video in the cards so that you can learn how to use it. Phone addiction is a real thing, especially with all these short videos that cause you to mindlessly scroll. And there are a good amount of apps that try to help you with this addiction, but a lot of them don't work that well, and some of them even charge you to use them. One of the only apps that has been truly effective at helping me reduce my screen time is Regain. Instead of just blocking my most addicting apps, it instead asks me how long I'll be using an app when I first open it, and then it reminds me again when time's up. That way I don't end up wasting my time, but I can still enjoy a short break. Regain also lets you schedule your notifications so that your most important ones show up immediately while the rest are scheduled to show up later in batches. And when you really want to stop all distractions, like when you're going to bed, or you're at work, or it's study time, or family time, you can create a focused schedule to stop those certain apps from opening during those times. It's truly effective at helping you reduce your screen time. Hopefully you never have to do this, but if you're ever in need of secretly recording a video, even with the screen turned off, you can use FaDCam. All you do is open the app, hit Start Camera, and then you can close it and use other apps. Or you can even lock the phone and it'll still continue to record. Once you're done, you can open the app again, tap on Stop Camera, and the video will be saved within the Downloads folder of your directory. Works pretty well, and it's completely free and open source. I just wish it had more settings, like letting me choose which lens to use or setting the resolution. A great alternative is XS Camera, an app that I reviewed 2 years ago which also does the same thing and has a lot more settings. But it's not open source and it's got annoying intrusive ads. Here's a simple one. For whatever reason, some phones like the Google Pixels no longer have an NFC tile within its quick settings. I'm not sure why, but they don't. So if you'd like to bring it back, you can download NFC Quick Settings. By default, tapping it will open the NFC menu within the settings, but if you'd like to toggle NFC directly from the tile, you'll need to grant this ADB command that you see on the screen. Then it'll work like a charm. Want to know everything about your device? Download Athena. It shows every detail, spec, feature, and piece of hardware on your Android. It even displays battery health and charge cycles if you're on Android 15. Sure, there are plenty of other similar apps out there, but this one is completely free, open source, and has no ads or BS hidden permissions. It's my go-to whenever I get a new phone. And speaking of getting a new phone, whenever you do, you'll most likely need to transfer your old apps and data. The problem is that some apps will still require you to set them up from scratch. It's super annoying. And the reason for this is that apps are allowed to opt out of Android's backup support feature. And you can't really know which apps have chosen to not get backed up. That's until now, because with Cloud Backup Checker, it'll scan your apps and let you know which ones have turned it off. For the most part, the ones that don't get backed up are your system apps, but you'll be surprised to see that there are still a good amount of user apps as well. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it, but it's still nice to know which ones you need to set up and which ones you don't. Thankfully, Google is improving device-to-device transfers, so this won't matter in the future. And now for the craziest app on this list, Swab. It lets you send emails and post tweets without needing an internet connection, and it does this by transmitting data over SMS messaging. Even if you used up your data or you're in a remote area, you can still send out an email or tweet something through a text message. It does take a few minutes for the platforms to post them, but it works. Anyway, tap this card right here to watch a playlist of all the previous best apps of the month. I've been doing this for years, so you have a lot of apps to download. Drop a thumbs up if I helped you download at least one app in this month's episode of the Best Android Apps. Thanks for sticking to the end, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Kapow!